Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Doris and this is the Savage Garden. As you could tell, I'm not very happy with what I saw outside. It's 20 degrees and this Texas girl, I just don't like the cold. So I'm going to go outside real quick and take care of the animals this morning, and I'm going to break up the ice on their water troughs. And I think today, when I come back in, I think it's a perfect day to make wet dog food. So if you'd like to learn to make organic dog food for your dog, hold on and I'll be right back, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I started prepping everything when I came back in. Got the carrots going, the eggs going, the chicken thighs going, and I got the rice going. Those all had to be pre-cooked before we do anything else. We gotta let these cook and then cool down. Hi everyone. Okay, let's get started here. You're gonna need 10 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You're gonna need 10 dog vitamins. I get mine ProSense from Walmart. 90 pill bottle is $9.50, so it's 11 cents per pill. So for this recipe, it's going to cost you $1.10 for the vitamins to make this recipe. You need 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 10 tablespoons of parsley. You're going to need 10 cups of cooked rice. You can use brown or white. I'm using white here. It's already been pre-cooked. You're going to need 12 ounces of green beans, raw. You're going to need 10 cups of kale, raw. You're going to need 10 boiled eggs. Leave the shells on because once it gets ground up, these egg shells become calcium for your dog. This is the chicken stock where the chicken was boiled in. You're going to need to use this to cap off your wet dog food in the jar. You have 10 carrots that are cooked, and you have 10 pounds of chicken meat. You can use any kind of chicken meat. I like to do thighs. It's just easier. But you need to let the rice, the vegetables, and the eggs and the meat cool so that you can tear them apart and then blend them together. You don't want to burn your hands, number one, and number two, it's best when you're filling your jars that the dog food is cold. So let me finish doing the ripping apart of the chicken from the bone, and then cut up the carrots, cut up my kale and my green beans, and then we'll get started on everything else. Okay, when you get to your 10 dog vitamins, they need to be in powder form. So I just put this in my Cuisinart bullet. And it turns it into powder. And that's what we're going to use. Okay, we are back. Wanted to show you everything has been diced fine, small chunks. So you have your kale, you have your white rice, it's already pre-cooked. You have your apple cider vinegar, your kosher salt, your parsley, your ground up dog vitamins, your chopped up chicken, cooked. You have raw green beans, diced. You have your eggs diced very fine. And then you have your pre-cooked carrots, same thing, diced very fine. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to do half of each ingredient and we're going to put it in a bowl and we're going to mix it up into like a paste. So let's get started on that. Okay, now that we have it mixed up, we have half of the ingredients, all of the ingredients in the bowl. So this is just 1/2 of your recipe. Now, at this point, I put mine in a meat grinder and it makes a pate. But if you don't have a meat grinder, it's fine just like this to put into your canning jars. It won't hurt anything. Now, you have a choice of putting it in canning jars, pressure canning it at 10 pounds for 60 minutes for a pint or 90 minutes for a quart. Or you can put them in sandwich bags, a cup in each sandwich bag, and put it in your freezer. Vacuum seal it if you can, and that'll stay in your freezer for about 6 months. Now, if you have them in your canning jars, it can last up to 2 years. If you don't want to put it in your freezer and you don't want to bother with doing pressure canner, then you can put your jars in your fridge, but let it be known it's only good for 1 to 2 weeks when it's sitting in your fridge. Half of these vegetables are cooked and half aren't. So when you do the pressure canner cooks it the rest of the way and marries all of the ingredients together. So this is your choice. But for this video, I'm thinking a lot of people don't have meat grinders. So I'm going to put it in the jars so I can put it in my pressure canner like this. And it's just as fine. So let's start doing our jars. Now make sure when you put them in jars, your jars are sterile and ready to go. Let's get filling. Okay, I'm going to do my pressure canner. So I already have my jars sterile. And what you're going to do is you're going to need a funnel, but you're going to need a wide opening to put in your jars like that. And what you're going to do is you're just going to fill it up 2/3 of the way in the jar, because right after that you're going to come back and you're going to put your chicken stock that you boiled your chicken in, that chicken broth, you're going to put that on top. Mind you, in a pressure canner, the rice will swell when it's in the jar. This is why you only do about 2/3 of the way up in your jar, and it gives it enough room to rise and get at the safe level that it needs to without spilling over out of the jar. So remember, when you're filling your jars, you're only going to do it 2/3 of the way through. Okay, see? I only have it 2/3 of the way of the jar. And when you put it in, just make sure you smash it down all the way to the bottom. I'm going to fill one for you, and then you can see what I was doing. I'm just going to take a little rubber spatula, and I'm going to push it down in there. I'm only going to go 2/3, because if I go more than that, then my pressure canner, when I open it up, is going to be a disaster. The jars, the rice will swell and overflow from the lid, and then it'll be all in my canner and stuck to my other jars. So that's all you do, 2/3. And then the rest is going to be your broth that you boiled your chicken in up to here. round one is over. First half, and it gave me 16 jars. So now I'm going to start doing the second half. Now when you're filling your jars up, fill them all the way up to here because the rice is going to swell. You want a lot of headspace for that rice to swell when you're doing your pressure canner. But also, if you run out of your chicken broth that you boiled your chicken in, it's okay to use chicken bouillon. You can substitute that if you run out, which I did, so now I'm going to have to do the chicken bouillon to finish it off. But don't worry, there's always an alternative. If you don't have the original when you first started, you can always alternate to this. Okay, everyone, first batch is out. And as you can tell, none of them overflowed the top of the jar. This is why you only fill them 2/3 full, and then you only put the liquid to here, because it's going to swell. But that is homemade dog food. Hi guys, okay, we finished with our batch. We ended up with 32 pints of homemade dog food. So we're going to break this down and tell you what the comparisons are of if you buy in the store versus it homemade. It takes a little effort to make the homemade dog food. It takes about 4 hours of your time to make it, from cooking it to chopping it up and to storing it for future use. But we're going to break this down, and it's a significant savings, and your dog is going to be eating healthier. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. So first, let's break this down. I bought 10 pounds of chicken that was on clearance for $9.91. I bought 90 tablet bottle of dog vitamins for $9.50. And if I took 10 of those tablets, they were 11 cents a piece when you break it down, so that's $1.10. I bought 2 pounds of cooked carrots that I cooked, and then it ended up being 10 carrots, and I actually ended up having some carrots left over, and that was $1.88. I bought 12 ounces of raw green beans for $2.47. A bunch of kale, raw kale, was $1.48. Apple cider vinegar, it was a small 12-ounce bottle for $2.50, but I only used 10 tablespoons of that. I bought 2 pounds of white rice. The recipe calls for 10 cups of cooked rice, so actually you're using 5 cups of raw rice before you cook it, and that was $1.99. 2 tablespoons of salt. Everyone should have that in their pantry. The chicken broth can be the water that you use to cook your chicken in. And if you run out, it's okay to use the chicken bouillon. And actually it gives it a little more flavor to the dog. And then 10 tablespoons of parsley, and at Dollar Tree you can get a bottle for $1.25. So that breaks it down to $30.98 to make 30 to 16-ounce jars of dog food. It is now done. It's cooling on the counter. It took about 4 hours. I just wanted to let you know that you can alternate this recipe by changing out the chicken and doing beef or fish, or you can do turkey meat if you wanted to. Also, you can get rid of the kale and you can do spinach, you can do chard. There's all different ways that you can change out your recipes for your dog. I like to do, my next recipe I'm going to do for my dog is going to be beef, and I'm going to change out the green beans for peas, and I'm going to change out the kale for spinach. I'm still going to keep the carrots, but if you also put in beef bouillon, gives it a more beef flavor for the dog, which they'll really enjoy. So that's going to be my next step. But I just wanted to let you know that $30.98 for 2 months worth of dog food for my dog. And you can actually go and check online. When we were talking about how much each can cost for your dog, I broke it down, and there's 512 ounces that we made for this dog food. And so that makes, we had 32 pints or 32 16 ounces, which came out to be 512 ounces. If you go to the store and you try to get 512 ounces of dog food in a 13-ounce can, you're going to have to buy 39.5 cans of dog food, and that's for a store brand or a commercial brand, because now they've reduced them from 16 ounces to 13 ounces. They reduced their cans by 3 ounces. So the store brand, if we had to make 512 ounces right now, it would cost us $71.68 to buy instead of $30.98. So you're saving $40.70 on that. And then the same thing with the commercial brand. If you had to buy 39.5 cans to make the exact same amount of dog food you did today, it's going to cost you $93.74. And you made yours for $30.98. So you're saving $62.76. So try to space out each 2 months 4 hours of your time on the weekend. You can get everything prepped 2 hours maybe on a Saturday, and then Sunday you can can it for the other 2 hours. But my next project is the beef, and then I'm going to make homemade peanut butter dog biscuits for my dog since he's almost out. And that will be an upcoming video soon. So I hope you enjoyed it. I really wanted to show you how you can make healthy dog food for your dog, and really inexpensive when you think about it. But I hope you tried it and you liked it. But y'all have a great day. Thank you. And oh, don't forget to subscribe.
Is Jasper a good boy? He is a good boy. Yes, he is. He's such a good boy. Mama made you some dog food. Yes, she did. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Such a sweetie.
Good night, guys.